What is up, guys? The NPC here with the official first episode of the NPC's Crash Course. As I said before in the concept video, running through a game of Infinite Crisis here. And yeah, apologize for how long it's been. I think it's been over a month since I put up the concept video, and I'm barely getting the first video out now. It was just, long story short, real life makes it hard to get into a game like this by myself, not to mention get good games recorded by myself. You'll see, some games you win some, you lose some. In any case, here, what you're looking at here is the champion select screen for the game, which you queue up with a team of 5, and you all get to see who's going to play what. There's a few icons that actually show what each character does, like they're ranged or melee, they do mostly power damage or physical damage, and what class they are. And yeah, there's also the amplifiers, which I didn't mess with because I haven't bought any, and the stolen powers, which are spells that are same across all champions that anyone can take. I took the security cameras because I like having the vision, and I took super strength to pick up objects and throw for crowd control. But yeah, before we get to loading, I want to throw up this tip though. Since you can see what everyone's playing, try to coordinate your champion choice with the rest of your team. Like if you see that you have a lot of mages and not a lot of defense, pick up a tank, or if you've got a lot of physical damage but not a lot of power damage, try a mage. And yeah, speaking of which, when we get into the game, I'm not going to go too much into the basics of the game, because if you're looking to play this game, you probably already played the tutorial, and that tells you the basics of how to control a character, where to go, and how to push down towers for the win. Yeah, sadly, I left the first player tips on this time around because I forgot to turn them off. But I do recommend them for new players, especially if you have no idea what you're doing in any of these games. And for once, I actually picked something different from recommended. I chose a Nile cloak, which is something it's in general, the Nile item series is good for starting the beginning of a match. I also picked up the level 2 health vial because health regeneration is big in this game. And yeah, the lanes were set up a little weird this time around, the top and bottom parts of the map. I could have gone into the middle urban jungle, but I had set up and planned to go with the lane partners. So we have me and Stargirl at bottom, and Shazam, Green Lantern, and who is it? Oh, Green Arrow up at top. So yeah, good tip for this: if you take the surveillance cameras, be sure to use them. This gives you vision of areas of the map that you're not currently at, which can be big, especially if they have a jungler who will come in and try to ambush people. So the more area you can see, the better. And yeah, I go a little further up top than I normally would have this time around, because I've noticed that top lane skirmishes happen a lot, meaning teams will meet up at top lane and try to get early kills off of each other. But I have to go back to bottom lane to keep their 3 people from pushing us in. Yeah, this time around I started with the lasso, because I was still experimenting. Lasso is a good start because of the crowd control, but I would also recommend her W ability, which is the shield ability. But yeah, I picked up the lasso because Wonder Woman is a tank or an enforcer in this game. So she's good at providing lots of lockdown ability with her lasso that roots people, and she also provides great defense to her allies and herself, which It's good for soaking damage and keeping other people occupied. Here I try to buy something at tower, which is something you can do at any of your objectives, but I didn't have enough for anything. So yeah, it's a low income game because there's 3 of them and 2 of us. There's not a lot of opportunity to gain an advantage. But it does give me time to mess around a lot down here. Especially with practicing super strength, which I do here. Well, whenever Robin backs off, I take up this rock, which the first thing I hit will get knocked up, but it can be hard to hit things around all the minions, which I kind of fail to watch out for. Which, it's a little hard to aim things at first, but it's mostly because of the smart cast option, which in which you click an ability and it hits whatever your cursor's over currently. Which I can give as a tip. I recommend either practicing that or disabling it if you want to, so that you have a standard click an ability or press an ability button and click a target to activate it. And yeah, I checked top real quick, which is always a good idea just to see what's going on in case a lane needs help. And yeah, sitting here trying to get in on their Mecha Wonder Woman, which doesn't go too well, mostly because Stargirl's too far back, but also because Healing Wave, which is a really strong stolen power, which, as it sounds, it's a Healing Wave ability. It gives you health back. Yeah, see, Robin does the same thing and keeps us from being able to finish the job on him. Yeah, it's not very obvious from here, but yeah, our objective in this game is to fight towards the enemy's tower and destroy it, solely working towards towards their power core. But with 3 of them down here and 2 of us here, it's hard to actually push towards them. So we just have to fret and try to bide time until we can pull some advantage via one of their mistakes. Or I could just try to throw another rock at them, but I'm sure it's not going to go any better than last time. Well, I actually hit him, but it's almost cost me Stargirl because we went too far in and hit the wrong target with it. And that's not going to help much at all. So Stargirl's going to have to go back. Meanwhile, I'm going to shop at the tower, which is great for buying items, but not good if you need to regenerate health or will. So I buy Kryptonian war armor here because it's a recommended item that I looked into, and it's something I needed at the time, which is health regeneration, and armor, which protects me against more of Mecha Wonder Woman and Robin's attacks. Yeah, so it's at this point that the power relays start getting captured, so I should probably talk about those. Power relays are a major secondary objective in Coast City that provide bonuses to whoever's team stands on them and captures them completely. And 1, gets you minor stats, but 2 gets you elite drones in a lane, which would be great for them and bad for us. So it's just a good thing that it was 1-to-1 and not 2-to-1 or 2-to-0. So yeah, there's 2 currently, but a 3rd opens up later in the game, which will allow elite drones in both lanes. And that's a nasty thing I don't look forward to. I really wish I was following the top lane a bit more, because this lane is kind of boring with 3 enemies and 2 of us, because we have so few options to actually take the offensive. It's like, luckily we're safe, but we don't get a lot done down here. It's a lot of me trying to bait enemies into attacking and trading a few blows until they back off or try to use their numbers advantage on us. The only thing I can really do in this case is wait for someone to get really close in, throw a lasso on, and use my new ultimate, which taunts everything within a certain range. Which I'm able to pull off here. I get the lasso on Hal, get the taunt, Stargirl's burst helps us finish him off. So now it's down to 2 versus 2, so they have to try to poke us down harder to get the same job done. Here I got another point into my E, but as a tip, I would recommend putting points into your passive or your ultimate whenever you can, because they're almost always helpful. Yep. And here I put down another ward or another security camera because I noticed the lane changed up a bit, so I want to make sure nobody tries to come in for an ambush. It's always a good thing to do. I mean, like I said before, if you have vision, use it. So yeah, I mean, I didn't notice the lane swap earlier because we've been watching the video. I'm pretty sure Harley Quinn left way early on to go to top lane while Green Lantern came down here, but it could always happen again, and never know who or what's going to come after us. Here I finally get a good hit with the rock, but sadly Stargirl isn't able to follow up well, so almost end up getting killed over it. And that's just, it happens. You have to, if you're laning together with somebody, you gotta have good communication and give good opportunities for your partner to follow up. Otherwise you'll end up dead, or at worst both of you with low health and unable to protect your tower. And sometimes that's almost as bad. You know, once again, I apologize for how boring this matchup may seem. Having 3 people in can be hard to push in, but luckily here we get a surprisingly good play off of this, though. I end up lassoing Mecha Wonder Woman right as our Green Lantern is coming in, and he uses the momentum from that to burst down their Robin, which is a good thing because they're doing so well that he has the opportunity to do that, and we have the opportunity to try to gain an advantage. So instead we end up getting prepped for the Doomsday device, which is the 3rd or 4th big objective on this map. It's basically you have to fight a giant boss character that if you win, you get a device that lets you nuke pretty much anything you want on the map. It includes champions, towers, other objectives, even a minion if you want. And yeah, here I picked up the big APC here, mostly because it provides good burst damage, but also because it provides us a little shortcut to the Doomsday device when we want it. And yeah, I find an enemy champion here at their power relay. Who end up getting the relay, though I end up getting low health at it. And of course, Mecha Wonder Woman wasn't alone, so there's a Green Lantern here, and luckily he doesn't pursue us, which could kill me, but he'd probably end up dying to the rest of my team. Then we see a Robin here. Green Arrow goes in, but I don't have the opportunity to get in from my position, which just puts me at lower health, though I still take the chance and try to protect Stargirl from 4 of their team. Which, yeah, Green Lantern stays in, and he barely, a good amount of baiting. Our Green Lantern gets him with even better baiting and juke abilities. I'm able to survive Shazam while the rest of my team kills him. So, a bad situation turned out kind of okay for us. I think we got 2 or 3 of them, and we only lost 1 of our own. And gave us the second power relay, which allows the elite drones to start spawning in top lane, and helps them push their advantage even further than it's been pushed already. Okay, so here I'm finally able to finish my Kryptonian war armor. I mean, I've been saying a lot, it's boring bottom lane, and as such, there's not getting a lot of income, and I'm not getting a lot of experience. So I end up lowest level on the team, not by much, but it's enough to matter. And just hard for us to get in. Like, I wish we got the elite drones that would help us break this stalemate a little. But what are you gonna do? Could always just provide some more vision and chuck rocks at them to no avail some more. But at least top lane does their job. They're getting enough that they can help us out and keep step with them. We just have to keep our tower safe, which we can provide. We can definitely provide for that tower. There's been no no risk about losing that, which is great. Just we had to suck it up and keep top lane from getting destroyed. But I don't know, maybe chucking another rock will help. Spoilers, it doesn't. Yeah, I completely missed that one. I feel so bad. I'm usually good about these things, but I guess I just can't be bothered to care in such a boring lane right now. I mean, but I do get a good lasso on Mecha Wonder Woman, which allows Stargirl to finish her off. I kind of waste my ultimate on Green Lantern, because don't have the range to finish him off. Yeah, almost got away though, but thanks to long range burst, we finish him off. Well, I guess it wasn't too much of a waste. Which is nice. As an enforcer, protection is almost as important as your crowd control. So if you can tank shots for your mage or your marksman, it's just as good as getting a good peel or locking someone down forever. And yep, I had to back off here. Wanted to whittle down that tower a little bit, considering top lane just got theirs. Should try to pull our weight down here, you know. But can't do much on that. Yeah, it's at this point that I start heading towards the top lane to try to help them press their advantage, considering nothing's happening at bottom. So they end up backing off while the enemy team starts pushing in. So not much you can do. I mean, I pick up this car and take it into the stealth pad to wait for them, which Hal is willing to help me with. I mean, he hit Harley, but doesn't help us much for an initiation. We try locking down Shazam, but he's too beefy to kill, so he ends up getting away, and the rest of the team ends up under their tower, which is kind of hard for us to kill them at, because as soon as you attack anybody under a tower, the tower will start shooting you, and towers hurt. So we keep trying to poke at them to no avail, so start moving away to eventually go for the power relays, which are unlocking soon, which the top part of the screen next to all the character portraits will actually show on a timeline when events on the map happen. Just as a tip, is a good way to keep track of things like this. So yeah, 3 of us end up getting their power relay, but because the enemy position under their tower, they're able to catch us pretty much right after, which ends up being really bad for us, because Hal and Green Arrow go down, and I'm left with the rest of the enemy team hanging on for your dear life. Like, thanks to my health vial and my shield abilities, barely able to keep up and not die from them as I start heading towards Stargirl, hoping she'll save me. Thankfully, she can get the tower down there right as can get in to kill a Robin out of this. Unfortunately, it cost me my life, but I think it's worth it for her, and it's worth it for the rest of the team, as Shazam was busy capturing the other 2 power relays, which now provides us elite drones in both lanes, which is great for... Here's where I start sorting through items, mostly the health items, because as an enforcer, health is very important to help you against enemy attacks. I end up deciding on the Amulet of Isis, which in hindsight might not have been a great choice for me because will isn't that important. But I do end up getting it because of the cooldown reduction it gives so I can cast my abilities faster, as well as the active ability where I can activate the item and give everybody around me a speed boost. Yeah, though even with the elite drones, this is where our bottom lane starts getting into trouble, because there's 4 of them down here and left to defend it myself with Stargirl coming in a little bit later, which yeah, bad thing for her because she almost ends up dying over it. I try to protect her because that's my job as an enforcer, but she ends up coming back and taking a jet to the face from Green Lantern. And yeah, this is where I'm looking pretty bad. Tower's almost down. I have minimal health left, but I'm not gonna give it up. I have to keep this. But thankfully, we have Shazam and Green Lantern to come play cleanup for us. Because their lane's so far ahead, they have the luxury to come down and help us now. So with Shazam, Arrow, and Hal able to roam free, take this opportunity to start working towards the Doomsday device, which will allow us to press our advantage even harder and work towards finishing this game off. Yeah, I pick up this truck here and almost feel like throwing it at their Green Lantern, but we just go for the Doomsday device instead. Use that. Hey, can use the truck to provide a bit of damage on that to help us, which we don't really need. I mean, there's 4 of us here, so it doesn't take long for us to finish it off. It's Hal and Arrow doing a lot of damage, me and Shazam taking most of the damage. So we end up finishing it off quick. We let Hal pick up the Doomsday trigger, which he'll end up using to help us win. So we make our way down bottom. Most of them split off, but I keep going down to protect our lane. But make the mistake of going in blind, not knowing there's 4 of them in there, and it ends up costing me another life, which is probably a big mistake for me. But in the meantime, it does allow top lane to use the Doomsday device to help them destroy the other tower in that lane, which now gives them a open shot at the power core. So while I'm dead, I take another opportunity to study all the health items available to me. There's a lot that provide a lot of different effects, and some synergize well better with other champions. Just all depends on what your kit provides you and what you need. I end up picking up the Olympus Gambit because providing a aura of stats to everybody, as well as I think it provides a shield ability that I can activate. And sadly, while I'm busy being dead, our main powerhouses were busy trying to go for the power core and end up dying when the rest of the enemy team comes back. So it's not much I can do except wait for them to come back and grab some power relays in the meantime. So yes, another tip, as I mentioned before, always keep a lookout on the timeline for when the power relays come up, because they provide advantages, especially late game when there's 3 of them. You don't want the enemy completely overrunning you, so you want to make sure you have at least 1 power relay captured for your team. I end up getting that first one, then going towards the top of the map for the 3rd power relay. The enemy gets the other one on their side, but at the fight, Shazam off of the other relay. We just trade blows a lot because we're both beefy, but then I have Green Arrow come in and turn the tides. We end up pushing him off, and his help comes too late for him, so we end up getting a kill off of him thanks to my ultimate. And then we push the Mecha Wonder Woman away by dropping her low health. Like, if Harley wasn't there, we probably would have got the kill, but the power relay is a bit more important, especially if we want to finish this game off with a good push towards their power core. When we're getting this power relay, I should probably mention a bit more about the power core. The power core is the final objective of the game. If the power core is destroyed, you lose. And it acts as basically a final nexus and bastion for your base that's pretty much a tower with more health and a lot stronger tower shots. So it takes a bit more, but at the same time, there's a lot less defenses protecting it. So it's just a matter of getting your team at it while the enemy team has no one to defend it. Which, thanks to this little skirmish of Green Arrow and Green Lantern picking off enemies here, we're able to get enough of them down that we can start working towards their power core to finish the game. Even with his ultimates, Green Lantern can't do much against 3 champions and elite drones. And we even have Stargirl and Shazam working bottom, so there's not much they can do to stop us here. So this will pretty much be the end of the game. I just wish I could have contributed a little more, but we got the win, and I will see you guys next time, hopefully with a much more active game to show off. This is the NPC signing off.